welcome to SMO Outdoors, and I've got an interesting video for you today. Something that not a lot of people think about until it's too late. So I was recently talking to an absolutely novice shooter about scopes when he asked me, pretty interesting question it turned out, which eye should I look through the scope? The question kind of took me back because most of us shoot exactly the same way, with the rifle on the right side of our head, looking through the sights or the optics with our right eye, unless you're one of those lefties with a rifle that has a left-handed action. Let me grab this just conveniently handy AR to demonstrate. So, what comes natural? AR-15. Bob's your uncle. Even if you're a left-hander, you typically do the exact same thing. So I got to thinking about it, what he was really asking me, and which is, should he use his dominant eye, or the eye the rifle and the optic and everything, the way it's set up, is forced on you? Now, if you don't know what term dominant eye means, here it is simply. Your brain often prefers visual input from one eye over the other. It's kind of like being left-handed or right-handed, except your eye dominance has no connection to left-handed, right-handed dominance. So how do you determine which eye is dominant? Very easy. Here's a simple test. It's called the Porta test, P-O-R-T-A, if you want to look it up. You can find other tests for eye dominance online too, but this one is pretty easy. So you point your eye at a distant object, okay? You close one eye, then you close the other eye. Open it and then close the other eye. Now, if your finger moves, the eye that you closed is dominant. So most people, about 2/3 of the population, are right eye dominant, and 1/3 are left eye dominant. I was actually surprised when I tested myself to find out that I was left eye dominant even though I'm a right-hander. There is a small percentage of the population which is neither eye dominant, and I don't know if that confers an advantage to them, but that exists. So now you're asking yourself, well, what does that actually mean? If you're left eye dominant but right-handed, or vice versa, should you start shooting with that hand? The answer to that is very simple. Maybe. See, when it comes to pistol shooting, switching your eye is merely a simple matter of moving your head slightly. So if you're shooting over sights, basically all you're just doing is this. You're moving your hand slightly. Practice it and it will become second nature. Although I have to admit, I actually tried it about 2 weeks ago when I took my IWI Jericho 941 out, and it was completely alien to me. I think it's just something I'm going to need to practice. Now, rifles are another matter. You literally would have to crane your head over the stock. I'll demonstrate. Pretty awkward. In order to use your left eye if you're left eye dominant like I am. Or it would be vice versa if you have you're right eye dominant and have a left-handed action because you're a left-handed person. Now, if you've been shooting for a long time, such as I have, you're not going to see any real improvement by using your dominant eye. If you're a brand new shooter, though, it may actually help you because you don't have to unlearn years of habits and muscle memory like someone like I would if I were to try and start shooting left eye dominant. So is craning your head over the stock realistic? It might be for some, but I suspect that most would find it pretty uncomfortable, though it must be said that left-handed people do eventually get used to shooting right-handed action rifles. So, you know, with practice, maybe it would work for you. That's a decision that you would actually have to make. So anyway, just my thoughts on left eye, right eye dominance, and whether it's really important. Personally, I don't think it is, but again, that's a decision that you'll have to make for yourself. If you are a novice shooter, though, this actually might be a good way to determine how you should be shooting your rifle. So anyway, as always, my thanks for tuning in, and if you thought this video was useful to you in any sense, or at least interesting, please feel to like and share it, and subscribe to the channel, because nobody else has. You may as well. Happy shooting, safe shooting.